Hello everyone, welcome back to another real-time plan with me video on my channel, this time for the month of February. I have done quite a lot of videos like these on my channel, and basically if you're watching these videos for the first time and you never watched any real-time bullet journal setup on my channel, basically it's where I'm going to show you my pages for February and everything that I did and how I set up everything, but in real time. So if you haven't set up for February yet in your bullet journal or planner, you can do it by watching my video while I talk and we can listen to some music. And this time I'm going to be answering your questions that you sent me on Instagram this weekend. So if you haven't planned for the upcoming month, just keep watching and I hope you enjoy this video. So normally for these videos what I do is I just let you listen to some lo-fi music and I talk about the pages that I did, and sometimes I answer questions or I talk about whatever I want, but that is something that I want to change in 2021. And for the videos that are like this, that it's like an hour and a half long, I want to either answer your questions, your assumptions, do like something fun, like interact with you guys. And for the real-time setups that are like less than an hour, like half an hour, 45 minutes, I will just either talk about the pages and do lo-fi music or just lo-fi music, but I'm going to have a different thing for each real-time setup, if that makes sense. Normally it's just all over the place and it's just whatever I want to do for each video, but in 2021 I'm going to focus on one topic, if that makes sense, for each video. So in this video I'm going to answer your questions. Maybe next video I will do assumptions about me and answering your assumptions, and in some other videos I can do just lo-fi or just share with you different things or talk about different topics. I don't know, but it's going to be more specific, if that makes sense. So last weekend I asked you to send me questions on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's just @catsplanner. I post there a lot of content and a lot of behind the scenes and my pen pals and everything before it comes out on YouTube. So if you don't follow me there, definitely check that out. But I'm going to answer your questions from Instagram because normally people don't really interact with a creator on the YouTube community tab. So I prefer to just ask on Instagram and I get a lot more variety of questions. So that's what I'm going to do today. So before I start answering the questions, I always like to talk about the theme and how I came up with it, because basically on my normal setup for the upcoming month, it's just 15 minutes and I sometimes like to ramble about the theme that I did and how I came up with the idea, so I prefer to do it in these types of videos. Basically, in February, most creators do like pink themes and flowers and Valentine's related themes, and I wanted to step out of the pink game for themes for February. So instead of doing pink, I decided to go to the other side of the Valentine's spectrum and do a vibrant red theme. And also because in 2020 I did 0 themes with red. I didn't use red for an entire year and I didn't notice until I did like my 2020 bullet journal themes spread on my bullet journal that I realized that I did nothing with red. I didn't use red at all. in 2020. So I wanted to cross that off my list for 2021, and the perfect month is February, so that's what I did. I'm still not sure if I'm going to use red further on in the year, obviously, but I wanted to just do something with red for this month. So instead of doing pink and hearts and kisses and flowers, I decided to go for a more scrapbooking, vintage, love letters theme. And my initial idea was to do like red roses and love letters related, and that's why I got the book pages to use on this theme. But then I kind of was more into vintage and scrapbooking and layering stickers and tape and other papers, and that's what I ended up doing. And this theme was really good for my creativity because it opened a new door. That's what I feel like. I feel like I wasn't being this creative in my themes before, and the fact that this theme didn't have to have everything planned out in advance. I normally sketch everything in my bullet journal, the decorations, the illustrations, the layouts, titles, everything. But for this theme, I ended up only doing the layouts and the titles, and I left white spaces for the decorations and for the papers and everything. And I just did whatever came to my mind at the moment, and I put things together. They looked great. Okay, so let's apply it to my bullet journal permanently. That's basically what I did, and I've never done that before. So it was really nice for me to just have that freedom and feel like you don't have to plan everything in advance for your illustrations. You should just do whatever it feels like in the moment. And I'm going to do that more further on this year because it felt really nice. And that was my alternative theme to pink and hearts and Valentine's related. I really wanted to do something red and vibrant, and I think I achieved that. Plus, scrapbooking and vintage themes are always fun to do, so yeah. And I paired the red with brown because brown goes well with everything. So I just thought that it was a really big help with the red, since I don't have a lot of red stationery and I don't use red a lot. So pairing the red with a color that I'm used to, it was really helpful. And that was basically how I came up with this theme. So for the cover page, I used my Crayola Super Tips to do an ombre effect on the title, and I prefer 100% Crayola Super Tips for these types of titles where it's like calligraphy with an ombre effect, because first of all, I don't have a lot of red markers, and I have the 50 pack of Crayola Super Tips for 2 years, I think, and I had the perfect red shades there, so I decided to use them, because I just don't have the perfect red shade that I wanted in Tombow markers, so I prefer to use Crayolas. And it's also great to show you how you can do calligraphy and ombre effects with Crayola Super Tips if you don't have expensive markers. And I just did the calendar for February in the middle, below the title, and I was just like doing whatever I felt like it. Like I mentioned, I just wanted there the calendar, I put it there. I wanted red vertically, I did a scrap of paper vertically, and basically that's going to be my whole theme for February. But I really enjoyed doing a calligraphy for the title and having all the decorations and everything. The stamps and the stickers and tapes that I'm using, everything is linked down below as per usual. And I have coupon codes if you want to save some money on the stores that send me these products. Some of the products were sent for free and others I bought, obviously, but I have coupon codes down below. And it's always great to mention that because a lot of people don't check the description, and sometimes people just ask in the comments, where is that thing from? And everything is linked in the description. And it's also great to mention that I receive a small commission if you use my coupon code on those stores. I think most people know that, but it's great to emphasize that. So if you use my code on Paper House or the Washi Tape Shop or Notebook Therapy, I receive a small amount of money from what you purchased, and it's an indirect way of supporting my channel. So let's start by answering your questions. And by the way, thank you to everyone who sent me questions on Instagram. I'll probably answer yours in this video. So the first one that I got is, what are some of your favorite K-pop songs? And now I'm not that into K-pop. I was into K-pop in like November, December, but in January I haven't been listening to K-pop a lot. And I believe that anime songs don't count, so I'm not counting that as K-pop, by the way. But there are some songs that I really like to listen to. So my favorite K-pop song is Lost by BTS. BTS is probably the group that I listen to the most, like K-pop wise. I also like CN Blue. I really like their songs. Day 6 and FT Island. And I actually did a page that I posted on my Instagram about like these two groups because they were my favorite. And I kind of like K-pop, but it's not something that I'm really into it. And I think I mentioned this in a past video, but one of my followers sent me a playlist of their favorite K-pop songs with like 700 songs, and I haven't been listening to that. I didn't even listen to half of that. And K-pop is like a whole world, and to be honest, like last year I thought K-pop was just something new, and I was so wrong. But I don't really listen to K-pop right now. You know, I didn't develop a big love for K-pop, but it's something that I like to listen, just like background music. And yeah, but it's not something that I really enjoy. But I like Lost by BTS, Dynamite, Life Goes On from the new album. I like Spinebreaker, Serendipity, and that is one of the songs that I use a lot on my pen pal letters because I found the instrumental, the piano version of that song, and I really enjoy putting that on my pen pal videos. Not Today, I also like that. DNA, like those normal songs that you listen to on the radio, like that's the ones that I like. And that's pretty much it. I'm just not remembering other songs that I normally listen to. So I'm not really into K-pop right now, but I still enjoy it. Do you live near your family? Yes, I still live with my parents. I'm only 20 years old and I see a bunch of people moving out at 20 years old, but here in Portugal that's not that common, so I'm okay with that. But I still live with my parents. I live with my mom and stepdad. My biological father is still in the picture, but he lives really far away from me. My boyfriend lives closer to me, and my best friend is practically my neighbor. What's something you've always wanted to do but haven't yet? Okay, so I'm not someone with a lot of aspirations and a huge bucket list and things that I want to do, like travel and do bungee jumping and all those types of stuff. I'm not one of those people. I have moments where I want to do something, but because I'm not going to do it now, and I know that I can't do it now, I just kind of put it on the side and I never think about it again until I have the opportunity to actually do it. So yeah, but right now one of the things that I haven't done yet is tattoos. I'm not afraid of needles, but I'm still like thinking about getting a tattoo or 3 in this case, and I've talked with my boyfriend about that and he's down to do like the same tattoos as me kind of thing. And it's something that I really want to do once the pandemic is over, quote unquote. or it's safer to go to places and get a tattoo. I really want to do that. That is something that I haven't done yet. And another thing is gaining confidence, or having enough confidence to take pictures and be myself and take pictures that I want, that I see other girls posting, and posting them on my personal Instagram. My personal Instagram is really not that active because I don't take a lot of pictures. I'm not going to say that I don't have confidence and I don't like my body or anything, but I'm just not into the mood to take pictures most of the times. And sometimes I see girls on TikTok taking badass pictures, and I kind of want to do that, but at the same time I just don't do it, if that makes sense. And that is something that I haven't done yet. I haven't done like a photo shoot by myself, doing the poses that I want and taking pictures like I want. I normally just take selfies for my Instagram stories, and that's that. But I really want to gain confidence and take my pictures and just do whatever I want. And I think those are the two things that I haven't done yet, but I really want to do. Oh, and one of the things that it's on my list for 2025, it's really far away, but I like to plan in advance, is probably to open an Etsy shop. I don't have Mac products, I don't have a Cricut, I don't have an iPad, but I still want to do something that I can sell in my Etsy shop. And that is why I'm only planning this for 2025, so I have 4 years to think about that and to decide if I'm going to keep my job, if I'm going to keep doing YouTube like I'm doing, all of that stuff. But it's something that I haven't done yet, like planned that in detail, but it's something that I really want to do in the future. So for this setup, I also tried something that I never did before, which was a mood board. And I think that for collage themes and scrapbooking themes and themes like this one, it's really good to have a mood board with a quote page. I normally avoid doing quote pages because it's a page that you're never going to look at. But on the creative side, it's useful. It kind of challenges your creativity to do something creative. But on the useful side, a quote page is not useful at all. It's just for decoration. And I really enjoyed doing this mood board because, first of all, it's one thing that I find really inspirational. And Natalie from Blossom Bujo, She does the mood boards every month near the cover page, and it's really simple, her mood board, but I really enjoy it. And I just never did that because I'm someone that doesn't like to waste stickers and paper and things that I might need later, and I don't have it because I wasted them. So I normally don't do artistic pages like this. But if the main point of the page is to be artistic and to inspire others and yourself, I think it's worth it. And in themes like these is something that I want to start doing more. I'm not saying that I'm going to do this in every theme, because it kind of needs to come naturally to me, but it was so good to spend like half an hour, put everything together, print these pictures off of Pinterest, put everything together, stickers, paper, the book pages, the stamps, everything, and make a collage. And I'm not really good at collages, and I don't know if this collage is decent, but I'm not really good with collages and layering papers. So I did my best. I think it looked okay, and this is something that I'm really grateful that I tried for February. And it's something that if you're in the mood and you have a good theme, do it, because it's really worth it, and it's going to really inspire you to do more and to be more creative in the future. Next question is for another of my pen pals, Xenia, and she asks, what keeps you going when you have no motivation? So basically, when I don't have motivation to think about a theme or a pen pal theme or something that I really need to do, but I don't have motivation to do it, I step back and I think about what I should do instead. And motivation, it's really relative, because you only do things if you have a good reason to do them. So for example, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, it didn't even was going to cross my mind to do the themes that I do in my bullet journal, because first of all, I wouldn't share them with anyone, and second of all, I wasn't making money with that, if that makes sense. With my YouTube videos, I spend a lot of time doing them, but I also make money with them, and that is my motivation. It's like, okay, you're going to be creative, you're going to inspire others, you're going to make money off of this, you're going to be creative and challenge yourself creativity-wise, and that's what motivates me. Now, this month I had in my habit tracker to study, and I haven't studied yet because I don't have motivation, and basically I just try to understand why I don't have motivation to do it. And first of all, it's because doing YouTube and videos and pen pals it's much more enjoyable for me than studying. And second of all, if I'm going to spend time studying and energy in studying for my job, it's time and energy that I'm not putting towards what I love, which is bullet journal. So I'm not motivated to do that, obviously. But I still have to do it because I need to study to stay at my job and to get better at my job and to keep my stable income at my job and be better, if that makes sense. But my motivation is not there because I don't see a raise at the end of the line once I study, or it's not like, okay, if you study this and you have this, you're going to make more money. No. I study, I take a new certification, whatever I do for my job, I'm not going to get more money from it, if that makes sense. Whereas on YouTube, if I post more, if I do more things creative wise, I can make more money. I have more subscribers, I have more views, I make more money. You know what I mean? So when I don't have motivation for that, I try to basically see in the big picture why I'm not having motivation for this, and I either don't do it at all, or I try to come up with a reward or an end goal so I can have motivation to do that actual thing. So, for example, studying, I haven't been studying yet, and I normally just study when I'm doing nights at my job, but we all know that nights are going to come and I'm not going to study. But if I see that if I don't study, I don't get my certification and I can lose my job, and then if I don't have my job, I don't have a stable income, that is my motivation to study, if that makes sense. So I can see the things on the other side, from another angle, and have motivation for that, if that makes sense. What do you do when you feel sad? So I did an emergency spread on my 2021 page ideas to try in your bullet journal. I did an emergency spread, which is when you are nervous or you're having anxiety or you're sad. You do one of those things on that spread. And if you didn't watch the video, I'm going to link it down below. But when I'm sad, I normally just try to either think if it's really worth it to spend time and waste time being sad and crying, or if this is something that I can take a quick nap and it's gone. Or what I normally do, which is what I've been doing lately when I'm sad, is I just lay in my bed, I cry for 5 minutes, and then in those 5 minutes I try not to think about why I'm crying, and I also think about what I'm going to do next once I stand up and I forget what I'm sad about. So I normally just lay down in my bed, I cry, and I plan okay, what are you going to do next to just take your mind off of this? You're going to watch an episode of Attack on Titan, you're going to edit a video, you're going to just be with your family downstairs, you're going to call your best friend, you're going to make a cup of tea, and you're going to journal about this, which is what I should have done more, but I don't. But journaling about why you're sad, it's really great because you're putting your thoughts and your feelings on paper, and you're kind of taking them out of your mind and on paper. And if you want to cry, journal. That's what I do. Normally that's not the thing that I do right away, but it's something that really helps. So highly recommend journaling when you're sad. Someone asked, what course did you do in college? So I didn't go to college. I graduated high school, and then I took a Cisco certification, which is something that it's recognized internationally, and I took that certification in technology, routing and switching, so basically network stuff. And once I finished that, I went to my job, and I'm still there, and I haven't done anything school-wise until now. But I have to renew my certification next year in 2022, so that's on the plate. But I never went to college, and on one side, I'm really grateful that I didn't, because my friends are all in college, except for my boyfriend, but my friends are all in college, and they are suffering so much, not for college thing-wise, but because of the pandemic. The pandemic just destroyed their lives for being in college. It's so hard to study and be in quarantine and lockdown, and having classes in school and having the classes online. It's just a whole mess. My best friend and her boyfriend are in college, and they say that they are super like tired, and I'm just like, I'm so grateful that I didn't went to college. And I don't really plan to go to college because I can either take more certifications and keep my job, or just do YouTube full time, but I never went to college. Also, another thing that I tried this month was a graph tracker for my productivity and my moods. So normally I don't really do mood trackers because they are useful until like one point, but there's some months that I just don't want to track my mood, like I don't see the point, so I just don't do it. But sometimes I find that if I want to be more productive, or if I want to start studying or working out or anything, I want to have my moods tracked, if that makes sense. And in January I'm more into working out, but in February I need to keep that hype, I need to keep working out and I have to study. So having my moods, it's going to be really interesting to see like how I feel and everything. And this graph is going to help me to see in which days I am happy, or it was an okay day, or I was really bad, and or I was really sad, and how that affects my productivity, basically. I normally don't do graph trackers because they are kind of messy at the end of the month, but I really enjoyed this one, and February was the month that I wanted to try different things, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to have 2 shades of red to track my work and my moods, and we'll see how this goes. I'm probably not going to do this for March, but I really want to try it for February, so that's what I did, and this is kind of like a productivity mood tracker. Okay, are you extrovert or introvert? I am 100% introvert. I have my moments when I'm with my friends and with my boyfriend of like extrovert, but most of the times I'm introvert and I prefer to, like I mentioned, be alone and do my stuff. And I hate being with people and large group of people and crowds and concerts. Like I hate. That's why the pandemic has been so good to me, because I don't have to see anyone. I'm not even at my job, so I don't even have to see my colleagues. That is not that bad, but I just don't like socializing with other people. So I'm 100% introvert. What career path are you on? So right now I'm at my job. I have celebrated a year and a half, I think, there, and it's been great to have a job, and I'm doing penpal letters and YouTube videos and book journal on the side. And the career path that I'm on right now is basically getting better at my job and studying and trying to define if I want to do my job until I die, basically, and if I want to do IT things, if I don't continue with my job, if I'm going to still do IT stuff and have a job in technology, or if I want to do YouTube full time and have a shop and really like squeeze as much as I can from YouTube and pen pals and selling things. That's basically what I'm doing right now, and I'm in this path where I'm trying to grow on YouTube and make money on YouTube and also keep my job so I have a stable income, and on the side I can see if YouTube is making money, good money, and understanding what is more valuable to me. That's where I'm on right now. How do you deal with art block? So I only had an art block. I mean, that is burnout. I suffered burnout for a couple of weeks in end of July. And I even did a vlog about that. But for art block, normally what I do is normally art block comes with bullet journal themes or pen pals. And normally what I do is I sit down and I brainstorm first, like the colors and the main idea, and I do a Pinterest board on Pinterest with all the pictures of the inspiration and everything that I want to do. And then I normally on the next day I plan like what I'm about to do and everything like in more detail. And if nothing is coming to my head and I'm having an art block because I can't come up with a good theme or a good aesthetic, I just do something else that doesn't require me to be super creative. So I either do a minimal pen pal letter, or I just edit a video, or I browse on Instagram for an hour or two to just have different ideas. And normally what I do is I go to sleep or I go to work or something like that, but I step out of the zone where the art block is focused on. So if I'm planning the color palette and the theme for a month in my bullet journal, I normally close that, put that on the side, and I go do something else that it's not related to that specifically. So I can edit a video, I can do a pen palette with another color, something like that. But I try to step out of the art block and really give a rest to my mind, if that makes sense. So when I come back to the theme and to creating things, I have a fresh mind, and normally it's a fresh day, or it's the next day normally, or I just had different ideas running through my mind and now I'm going back to it. That's normally what I do for art block. I try to step out, think about something else and do something else not related, and then when I come back I normally have better ideas. I normally don't share this on my Bujo vlogs because I prefer to just plan, and I don't want to turn on the camera every time that I have to plan something. But most of my themes, the first sketch is not how they look like on the actual bullet journal that I film for my videos. Normally it's a different idea, a different whole aesthetic, and when I come back to it I don't like what I did, so I just redo it and I rethink about it. And normally that's where the art block was going, because I wasn't going in the right direction. So I gave my mind some rest, and when I came back I went to the right direction, if that makes sense. But basically that's what I do. I step out, I go to something else, and when I come back I have fresh ideas, new ideas, and I can create something better. If you could travel back in time, what would you tell your pre-YouTube self? So when I read this question I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I would say. But what I recommend for my pre-YouTube self when I started is do your research before you post anything. Like, if you think that thing can be done better, you just need to research and see how you can change that and do it better on the first try, instead of doing the things just like they are standard wise and just post that. So for example, on my first video, if you go watch it, the ratio of the video is 4:3, because that was what I thought YouTube videos were, in like the size 4:3. So I edited my first video in a 4:3 format, and I was like, oh my god, why does my video have like black borders around it? Like, what? When I edited it wasn't like that. And then one day I just searched for like how to take off the borders, and I saw a video saying that the YouTube videos are 16:9, and I was like, oh, I was using the wrong ratio. And in my mind was like, if you had searched that up before you exported the video and before you edited, this wouldn't have happened, basically. And now with the audio on my videos, on my future videos, you will see, and in this video I think you can tell, the audio is much better because I was able to tell that there was some background sounds and like that background normal sound, and I was like, oh my god, how do I get rid of this? So I just searched online how to have better sound in Audacity, which is a program that I use to record my voiceovers right now. And they just explained it was like a video, a 1 minute video, someone explaining how to make your voice sound better with Audacity. And that's what I did. And I was like, I spent so many videos doing voiceovers on my phone, and I had a microphone on my closet, but I just didn't know how to use it, so I never used it. And now with the microphone, I was not using the voice like I should have, like the sound was not good enough like I wanted to. And if I had searched that earlier, my voice and the sound would be much better. So that's what I would tell my pre-YouTube self, like, do your research before posting. If you think something is going to not look great and you can change that, or at least try, just do your research. And that's what I recommend to my pre-YouTube self, and for any small creators that are trying to start a YouTube channel, just do your research first. Search how to have better quality on your camera, how to do your lighting better, how to film with lighting, all of that stuff. Do your research. Now for some quick questions. Nationality and where you currently live. I am Portuguese and I lived all my life in Portugal, unfortunately. I would love to live in like Amsterdam or Italy or Canada, but I live in Portugal and I've never left Portugal to live somewhere else. My age, I'm 20 years old and my birthday is on June 30th. And when you begin art. So I think that, and this is because my mom is an architect and my father paints a lot. I started drawing when I was like 3, 4, somewhere like that. I was that type of kid that we would go to restaurants and I would draw on those like papers that they have to cover the tables. My mom always brought like a pen for me to draw and I would just draw stuff, and at the end of the meal I would just cut off the paper and I would take it home to put in my album. And I used to draw a lot on my sketchbook that I had when I was a kid, and I always loved art and all that stuff. It wasn't like pretty because I was a kid, but I really liked to express myself through my drawings. And when I was like 7 or something like that, I named myself, like my artist name was Lola, which is Picasso's sister, and that was like my name. And every drawing that I would do and every painting that I would paint, I would sign as Lola. That was something that I did as a kid, and then I kind of outgrew that. But the reason why like my hand is really steady and I can draw kind of, even though I don't really like to draw, but I can draw, it's because of the drawings that I did as a kid, and because my mom is an architect and she always taught me like to have a steady hand, to do straight lines, to not do like those hairs that a lot of people do, and just like draw perfect kind of, and just like feel really free when you draw. And I practiced drawings my whole life, so that was basically how I began with my art, and that was probably the factor that now it made me so creative, like in my pen pal letters and my bullet journal themes. I think that's a big factor, and that's a big reason why I'm this creative. It's because of my parents. What is your favorite video to make? So I think it's the bullet journal setups, or it's either the pen pal videos. I really like to do bujo vlogs, but I'm not really good at filming clips and then putting them together. I always feel like something is missing, or that like the things are not stitched well together, if that makes sense. I don't like to put a video and then start the other clip right away for the vlog, but that's what I mostly do. I really have to get better at those. Those are really fun to do. And I also like to make videos of like things that I know and giving you tips and recommendations and ideas. I love making those videos, but those take a while, so that's why I don't do them often. Every month I will have a different video like of tips or recommendations or 101 stuff, and I am already planning one about pen pals that it's coming February, I think. And those are my favorite videos to make, probably. The ones where I share things with you and I show you my creativity and my drawings, those are my favorite. So for my habit tracker, I decided to take advantage of the fact that February is a perfect month this month, and I did a individual habit tracker, which is something that I really like to do because it's easier to track my habits instead of having that table that I normally do. I really prefer to have individual trackers and just paint the days where I did that habit. I enjoy much more filling in my habit tracker when I have a tracker like this. I just don't do it every month because I like to change my layouts every now and then, so that is why you don't see this layout in my bullet journal every single time. But I really like this layout, and I'm tracking the different things that I want to focus on this month, and I'm also dividing the pages between habits like daily things and my health habits on the other page. So I have vitamins, study, no coffee, desk standing, and water, which are the normal habits that I have every month. These are the things that I try to do every day, or at least to do every other day, because sometimes it's kind of impossible, but it's something that I just don't like to forget that I can do, if that makes sense. And then on the right page, I have my health habits, which are meditation, walk, working out, and stretching. And I kind of did it differently than last month because my workouts don't really need to be like half an hour, 1 hour. So I'm just putting here working out, and like I mentioned in my normal bullet journal setup, if I want to specify what I did, I can do it in this notes section that I created below the habits, or I can just write it on the weekly spreads. Or if it was a really good workout and changed my life, I want to journal about it, I will journal about it in my diary. And that's basically the mindset for this theme and for these layouts, is to keep the layouts and the tracking thing as simple as possible. And if I want to elaborate, or if I need to specify something, I will just journal about it or write it on the weekly spread or on the notes section. So if in one day I'm going to say, okay, I didn't work out today because I had a really busy day, I can write it on the notes, and I still don't know how I'm going to use it, like for sure, but it's there, and it's something that if I felt really good after a workout, or if I'm in pain and I can't work out, I will write it there. It's basically just having like a workout log, but in a mini version. So yeah, I'm going to use that note section for that. Okay, next question is, what is your favorite theme from all your Bujo setups? So I've been doing bullet journal setups since May 2017. That was the first month that I started bullet journaling. And themes per se, I started doing in 2018 because I kind of took 2017 to just practice and do the spreads. I have flip-throughs of my old bullet journals on my channel, in case you want to see that. They are pretty basic, but I will leave the playlist down below in the description. So for 2018, I think my favorite theme was Stranger Things, which was December 2018. It was the first month that I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I filmed it for my channel, and I was actually pretty happy with how the theme turned out because I tried a bunch of things. For 2019, it was probably July, where I did like blue and minimal line art leaves, or March, which was like bees and honeycombs, and it was a lot of yellow. I also really like that theme. On top of my head, those are the ones that I kind of remember being my favorite. And then for 2020, it was July, where I did like a grid board with plants and lots of greens and browns, and you guys also really liked that theme. And I also liked the June theme, which was pastel clouds. I did baby pink and lilac clouds, and I really liked the aesthetic of the theme. It was really simple and really minimal, but it had a lot of color because of the clouds. So those are probably my favorite themes. And so far for 2021 is February, but for 2020 I think are those two, and I think that my themes have been evolving a lot. So I think those are my favorite themes from all of my Bujo setups. How would you name your cat if you got a new one? So I'm probably not going to have a new one where I'm living right now, but me and my boyfriend, we have been thinking about getting a house in the future, and we are planning to have 2 cats. And we are probably going to name them after anime characters. So if it was a boy, I would probably name one of them Koichi, which is a character for JoJo Bizarre Adventures, or some like name from JoJo. And if it was a girl, I would probably name her Mikasa because of Attack on Titan. And we are going to probably live our lives together around anime because we are both obsessed. He is like obsessed in another level. I'm still new to anime, but I already have a lot of crushes and I'm really enjoying it. But we're probably going to have like a very weeb house, and our cats will have anime characters' names for sure. Do you have kids or a husband? No, I don't plan to have kids or a husband. I have my boyfriend, like I mentioned, but I don't want to get married, at least like really married, like with a ring and search and wedding dresses and all of that stuff. I don't like that, so if we get married, it's just because it's probably good for us, but if we don't need to get married, I don't plan to do it, and we also don't want kids. weekly spread, I did something really simple. I normally like to divide each page into 6 sections, so we have 12 total, and then 7 it's for the weekdays, and 5 are for the decorations, however I want to lay out the page. And there's a lot of things that you can do in a layout like this, but I normally just go for the most basic one. This layout allows me to be super creative with my illustrations because I can just do a bigger one, a smaller one, but I have space for everything, and my perfectionist self needs to divide the page into 6 sections. I just can't be like those people, like Jenny Journals. Her weekly spreads are like super messy, and like it's not messy, but like the layout is not there. You can't see if she followed like a scheme or something like that, or if she has like a pre-layout for the page. She just writes the weekdays and she writes things about below, and she just writes things below the title, and she probably doesn't set up her weekly spreads like this. She just basically just does the name and then she writes the tasks, and she does the page as she goes throughout the week, if that makes sense. I do all of my weekly spreads in advance, so maybe that's why I can't do that, but I will post my February weekly spread in 2 weeks, I think, and the layout is going to be a little bit more messy than this one, but it's a really good layout, and I really like that I have space for everything that I want to put on my weekly spread. Now I'm just showing you all the pages that I did in this quick flip through. My cat has been really needy, so you will see her in my future videos as well, because she has been on my desk every time that I do something. So yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was enough time for you to plan your setup, or if you recreated any of my pages, please tag me on Instagram. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.